come along, and basically they tell the story that before Moses, there is the writings of the patriarchs. So supposedly from Adam all the way up to Aaron, they all wrote a last will and testament. What you want your kids to do. There's morality, basic, all sorts of stuff in there. So now you got to turn around and think about this. And it's fascinating to me. We're not trying to say that there's a pre-Old Testament canon, but before the canon was made, and they're very clear on it. The canon is supposed to be the Old Testament, what we would consider the 39 books. They group them differently, and the canon is closed. You're not supposed to add to it. There would be a new one when Messiah comes, consisting of the writings of Messiah, which is the 4 Gospels, the history of what's going on, and then there would also be history of the Benjamite guy, the guy that writes a bunch of texts. He's going to explain how everything works.
Does it really say that?
Yes. And that's Paul.
Yeah, I would say, if you don't know, Paul very clearly says.
Yeah, and that's why when Paul goes to James and says, hey, I'm the apostle to the Gentiles. Well, there's supposed to be one. The Lord is blessing you. Things are happening. You're the only guy that's Benjamite, apparently. Right hand of fellowship. And so you see that all the way through. And Paul in chapter 24 of Acts says, I follow the way, which the Pharisees call a sect or a heresy, but it's the way of the ancients, the way of the ancestors. So it's the Essene way. So we've got lots of data now, and then you go back and again, you read the New Testament, and it makes much more sense.
When Jesus came, did he die according to the Jewish festival, the festival of the Jews, or the Essene Passover? Which Passover?
The Essene Passover. And the reason we know this is, and you may have remembered Chuck Missler talking about the prophecy of Daniel's 70 weeks, and Sir Robert Anderson calculating the date of the start and the date of the end. And it comes up to be April 6, 32 AD. Well, it's always been criticized because that's not a Passover. There's no full moon right then and there. Well, it turns out to be the Passover on the Essene calendar, and it's very easy to double check. And so it's amazing to see that kind of stuff and to go forward with it. Interesting, we hadn't mentioned, but in Isaiah 29, it talks about there's a time when Israel comes back for the second time. That's 1948, no doubt about that. Yeah. When that happens, the old ones would begin to speak out of the dust of the earth. And that's the time the Dead Sea Scrolls came back. So that's the Holy Spirit telling us to pay attention. There's other history. So then you look at the history as they explain it, and it all of a sudden makes sense.